Okay, so it is time to put our ciabatta in the oven before an ice storm makes that unpleasant. Now my oven is outside, so I just roll it onto a peel like this. A couple of loaves is all I need. And you stick your fingers in them like that. And here is my oven. And it's about 460 degrees Fahrenheit in there. Ciabatta likes a hot oven. So I've put ciabatta into my oven up to, well, over 500 degrees. And it's fine. It's just starting to precipitate out there, and it is already freezing rain. By tomorrow we may not have any power, which won't matter very much because I don't really need a whole lot of electricity for this place. I certainly don't need it for my oven. Or for much of my baking. All of my breads I can do by hand. As long as I have a supply of water, I'm good. Spray of water for some steam. This helps keep the top open so it springs nice. It also helps brown the bread. So in about 20 minutes from now, that'll be out of the oven. So you saw me put ciabatta in the oven, stick it on the peel and put it in the oven. I thought I'd show you a couple of other different loaves of bread and how they're done. This is raisin bread, and I'm going to be putting olive bread in as well. And these are quite a bit firmer. And these are the type that need to be scored. Well, you don't actually need to do that, but if you want the bread to kind of spring and in a predictable direction, it's helpful to score the top. Now I use a scalpel, then I can just replace the blade. These blades last for a long time, and it's inexpensive. A lot of them use a razor blade with a little handle. I find those scarier because they're sharp on both sides, where this one isn't. So you just score the top like that. I do different patterns for different breads, so they are easily identified. And I mentioned with the ciabatta that it takes a nice hot oven. And I use the ciabatta as a means to cool the oven down some, because these breads don't like it as hot. So I wouldn't put this or even this one, or especially in even heavier bread like the grain bread or my Ezekiel bread. Those like it, 350, 375. The oven now is about 400 degrees. And my oven is a retained heat oven, which means that I've heated it up this morning. So I started a fire in it at about 6:30 this morning, and I burned for about 4 hours. And then I pulled the coals out that were remaining and washed it, closed it up, and waited for that heat to soak into the mass. And by this time, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, is when it's ready for baking. The interior is cool enough. And then as I said, I use ciabatta to cool the oven down so it's ready for breads that don't like it nearly as hot. So there's a kind of a schedule of when breads can go in the oven, when the oven is ready, and then because it's a retained heat oven, all the heat that's in the oven right now is all that I've got to work with for the remainder of the day. And then the breads are used to cool the oven down so that it can get low enough or cool enough so that I can then start putting in my sweet stuff, the pies and scones and cookies. I can't put those in right now because the oven's too hot. So the bread will cool it down, and then sweet things can go in.